Hi, this is Nishant from the Middle Road. I'm with Vandita, who is the co-founder of Daftar, upcoming co-working space in India. So Vandita, community building is so important in co-working, and we hear so much about it. There's so many events going in. Could you take us through your journey in building up the co-working landscape?
Sure. So I think I can pretty much say that the very reason why we started co-working spaces here in Pune was we were seeing a huge gap between how the community was being built between the startups themselves, the startup founders, the team, and the mentors and investor side as well. So co-working has pretty much, we can say, bridged that gap now. It has made it so much easier for people to actually connect over ideas, connect over different verticals, no matter what area of expertise you come from or what industry type you come from. You might have something for another startup from a absolutely different domain. Like for example, team building is something that every startup needs or every company needs for that matter, right? So suppose you are from an XYZ domain and I'm from another domain absolutely different from yours. I might still get some help from you with respect to, let's say, team building, right? So I think co-working spaces have been constantly bridging that gap where getting expertise was becoming more and more difficult in India. It was not that easy. And also it's happening because there's a community. It's happening on a very in a non-commercial way. It is happening because people want to grow together. They're seeing those synergies and they want to help each other, and there is a trust because there's a community and there's more trust and care, which is, I think, the key elements of being a part of a community. So I think co-working spaces have been brilliantly doing that, and yeah, that kind of really works.
You also, you went for a stint in the US.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the difference between the community building in India and what's happening in the US in the co-working space?
So I think, now obviously things have changed in India to a large extent, but when we started off was immediately after I came back from the States. And one of the things that we saw was the way the infrastructure was built, The co-working space there were like a lot more vibrant, a lot more colorful. They were not partitioned spaces. So which kind of really helped people to actually see each other and talk to each other and exchange some smiles and exchange some greetings, and then the journey began from there, right? Which was not the case here. Here, you work out of very siloed offices. For me, it was like IT styled offices. So which was obviously a little different from what I saw there. And then one very very interesting thing that I saw there was connecting to someone, no matter whether it's like a high growth startup founder, a funded company, or somebody who's just starting off. Connecting to each other was very easy.
Okay.
It was people would respond. There were a lot of platforms, and co-working space was definitely one of the platforms that I saw actively was taking care of that.
Well, thanks for the wonderful insight. Now you have Tech Startup today. It's a part of the global initiative which is going on around the world. Can you take us through? I came and I spoke to a lot of budding entrepreneurship. I think the entrepreneurship seed has really come in the last 5 years.
Correct.
Could you just sort of share your inputs? What drove you, as a matter of fact, have this event, and what's been your experience here?
Right. Firstly, Techstar Startup Weekend is like a 54-hour program. It is kind of a hackathon, like a pitch day. There are teams that are formed here, and very ideation stage startups that come and become a part of this. This is what Techstar Startup Weekend is all about. And primarily, it's a very community-driven, very strongly knit platform which gives an opportunity to young minds to actually come and explore the very idea of becoming entrepreneurs. And I think that's where it has to start from. And what they've brilliantly done is that this gives, you must have seen, there was a mix of students and people who probably just freshly graduated, people who probably just planning to pursue entrepreneurship, people who are probably serial entrepreneurs. It's like a mix of all of these coming together with mentors, with investors, with a judging panel, and doing things together, which I think is the very need of when you start becoming an entrepreneur. You need those different aspects, right? What are the different hats I'll have to wear? Because you're not just like a one-person army, right? You need a set of people, and you need to know the importance of a mentor. And because these people have now got an exposure to how talking to mentors can be and how it can actually help them, they would now understand the idea of pursuing more and more people to, kind of help them sail through. So I think, that's brilliant about it.
So, coming back to the whole ecosystem, what do you think is the most important? Who are the major stakeholders in this ecosystem, which you would think play a major impact or enablers for this?
I think enabler is a brilliant term rather than saying that who plays a major one. But I think platforms like co-working spaces or startup weekend, I think these platforms are brilliant enablers because like everybody's picked up their niche either, or people are playing in different industry verticals or different geographical areas and stuff like that, and they are becoming the actual enablers, which are bringing people together, which are giving you that kickstart and like helping you get there and experience it. Also, I think these players are really playing a very important role for sure.
Thanks. And I would like to know now, if there is something which you really want some people out there to know, what would be the 3 most important factors you think from your part to succeed or to be a much better effective startup entrepreneur?
I think I always say fail fast, which means start up early, try different things. Failing fast doesn't mean that you try something and you just stop. You try something, you experiment something, you might make some mistakes, you learn from them and you go to the next step. So I think fail fast is one of the important things. Second is be accessible. Eventually every time you do something, it gives you an experience, it makes you a better person either as an entrepreneur or as a team player or as an expert in a certain industry, right? I think become accessible. People should not feel like, oh my god, it's not going to be very easy to kind of approach that person. Become approachable because people need you out there as much as you need them. So become accessible and approachable. And third, very important is that there's always like a silver lining, always. So you should always keep looking for that. No matter everything comes down like in a snap of a finger, but there's still a silver lining. Look for that and keep moving forward. So I think that's very important to do that.
Oh, thanks for sharing. And one last question, and I would say that during your journey, this entrepreneurial journey which you have taken, what was that one aha moment? This one moment which brings back smile to your to your lips. You feel so happy. Something which you always cherish.
I think it's been the failure of my very first startup. I think I've learned a lot, and the aha moment was that luckily, fortunately, I never really never thought of taking a step back or pursuing anything else. I knew I always wanted to do something of my own, and it just kind of very naturally, it just kind of told me that okay, it's okay, you made a mistake now, let's make sure that you don't make that mistake again, let's just take that next leap. So I think that's something that I go back to when I think about myself. Oh yeah, this has been great. I mean, I never looked back, I never said that, okay, let's maybe just stop and do something more, maybe different or something more secure, or something which probably I know or I don't know. But I just instead thought, let's take a next leap, and that has really helped me. Even today when I fail in small things or big things, I always look at that time of my life and I say, yeah, I took a step then, so I might as well just take a step now, and that kind of really helps me. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks a lot for taking time. I really appreciate.
Thank you.
And I hope you and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys.
Thanks.